Tell me what you thinking of. Don't let nothing be.
And joining us now straight from Hollywood. Used to be out here in Houston, Texas when I met him at the Perfect Rack, and my boy turned into an actor doing big things in the big screens. Lee-Coc, Mr. Holder of the Light. What's up, man?
Yes. What's the word, man? What's
There you
up,
go.
G?
Boy, them ad-libs, that was the first thing that caught my attention whenever I met you at the Perfect Rack. I'm like, my boy killing them ad-lib game. Man, that shit was dope, man. So we were just talking about how it's been a long time since last time, I had not heard from you because we've kept in touch, but
right.
last time I had actually talked to you. And let's jump right into this, man. So when I met you, you were into the music game, and you were doing hip hop. Met you out here in Houston, and then you moved out to LA. Are you still doing music right now?
I am, man. It's actually, it was crazy. I just did a new record last night, man, with my guy Bo Willie, man. He's a really dope producer and engineer from St. Louis, and I just recorded a new record, man, for a movie. Actually, man, it was. I'm still on it, man. I still try to do 2 or 3 records a week, man, or more if I can.
How do you have time to do that, man? Because we're gonna get into your acting side here in a second, but I know you're busy with your acting career. How do you make time? I see that you're active as hell. You're at the gym. You're acting. Now you tell me you record 2, 3 records a week. How do you make that happen, man?
Man, I just make the time. I feel like out here, when you live in LA, man, it's a city where so many people are moving there every day to try to make something happen. And every day I'm literally working, man, from the time I get up to the time I go to sleep. And there's days when I'm done filming, and then after I get off set, I got to go straight to an acting class. And then when I get out of class, I'm in class from 7 to 10, 11 o'clock at night. And then I'm rehearsing for an hour or 2 for scenes that I'm working for my class or scenes that I got to shoot the next day. And then I'm done at 1, 2 in the morning. And I get inspired, man, to work. So I got my own home studio. I'll pop it on. I'll have my engineers either be at my crib or meet me there. And then I just go to work, G. And, you just got to do it. I still love music. It's still my passion. Acting is what's really changed my life and it's really doing well for me. But music is something I'll never stop doing. And now I'm doing a lot of music for movies, too. So I get to incorporate the two,
Nice. So let me ask you this. Has moving from Houston to LA and, doing the, chasing your acting career, has that helped your music like to evolve and get better?
Absolutely, man. Because my environment changed, my lifestyle of living. I left Houston with everything and just picked up and moved one day. And you go through a lot. I changed the way I was living. I changed a lot of things I was doing. I went from being in the streets and moving like that to being in a whole new state, whole new city. And I changed that lifestyle. I got out of the streets and so obviously your music's going to change because your lifestyle is evolving. I'm not rapping about the same things as I was when I was moving like that. And, I also, because of the acting, I read a lot of plays and I study a lot of playwrights and it's really changed my content a lot to how I write and not a lot of times I don't even write. Like the record we did last night, it was just, we put the beat on and I just kind of went in and recorded a nice hook and then found a melody for the verse and just kept playing the record and then, laid, 4 bars and then laid another 4 bars and then the other 8 I laid, I kind of wrote the record in my head. So
yeah,
everything's changed, man. Everything's evolved because of the acting and moving out here, my environment changing,
And on a personal level, man, from knowing you from when I met you, one thing that I even told you when I first got in touch with you again about a year ago, like I'm proud of the fact that, I knew the lifestyle you had out here in Houston, and to see you go from that to what you got now, like that's something to be proud of, man. Cause I always thought you were a smart dude. And then you got a family and it was like, come on, man, like you're talented, bro. And now, you got your acting career going. That's fucking dope, man. So let's talk about your acting career. A couple of things movies that I know you've been on. The Mule recently came out. Future World. and you were featured in a couple of TV episodes on the S.W.A.T. and Rookie about 2 weeks ago, I believe. Talk to us about, you know, the transition from music to being an actor. How did that happen?
It's crazy, man. I was actually doing music out here. I don't know if it was I believe it was a performance I did. I went with Dead Prayers to Orange County, and they let me rock a couple of records. I rocked a couple of records after a Dead Prayers show, and I met a woman who introduced me to a girl who was running a school for James Franco. It was about to open up, and she was like, "I really like your stage presence, and you know you look like you'd be a dope actor. I like the way you carry yourself." And I was like, "Okay, I never thought about acting." And she pointed me to some people who said, James Franco's opening this school, and gave them my information. And I really wasn't with it, man. I was, stuck on, I'm gonna do this music thing. I never really did any acting. And so they kind of reached out to me a couple times and were persistent with emails and phone calls about me coming to the school. So when it came, and it was the first day they were opening it, because there was an audition process and people were trying to get in. And, a lot of people couldn't get in. So, I was kind of chosen to come through. So I came and checked it out. And at first it was like, I thought I made the wrong decision because it was very strange. It's a Meisner based school is what it was. And a Meisner technique is they have different forms of acting. And it's one of the techniques started by Sanford Meisner. So when you're going into the beginning stages and the exercises, it's very weird. It was all new to me, the whole acting world, the whole the terminology, I love to rock a stage, but this is rocking a stage a different way. It's a lot of theater stuff. And so, it took me a minute to get used to it, but then I fell in love with it, and I got an opportunity very early to go audition for something James Franco was doing at UCLA with him. He was reshooting his version of Breaking Bad, calling it Breaking Rad, and they were doing it at UCLA with the grad students there, with the film students at UCLA, and they wanted me to audition for the role of Tuco. And I had never seen Breaking Bad, and so I didn't want to do the audition. I was like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm in the acting school. A lot of the other students who have been seasoned actors and come from, New York and all these other places were in this school. They were all going out for the auditions, and I was just like, no, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to embarrass myself. And so I ended up getting talked into doing it. And I ended up booking a role, man, to make a long story short. And nice. I started working for 8 weeks with James. And, they literally, from the time I got the role, the next day they gave me, just line, like 20 pages of dialogue to memorize, which I couldn't do. And was really nervous for my first day of shooting, which was the next day after I found out I booked it. And
oh shit, quick turnaround.
Yeah, and I get to UCLA early, and I see James. I run into him. He was doing some stuff in New York. It was a play of Mice and Men, and he was also shooting something. I can't remember what it was. And he would fly down just to teach this school at UCLA for a couple of these days and fly back because he was on Broadway doing a play. And so I run into him the day I get to UCLA, and I'm really nervous, thinking like, yo, I might should back out of this because I don't want to make a fool of myself. And I asked him, the first time I met him, I was like, hey, how you doing, sir? He came up, introduced himself. And I was like, look, man, I really, I need some pointers on memorizing this dialogue because this is a lot. I want to make sure. And he just kind of looked at me and was like, don't worry about the dialogue. Just listen to whoever's on stage and do whatever you would do, like in the streets. You look like a guy, your role is this. And I had never seen Breaking Bad, and I had started pulling up some stuff the day before to look at it. And yeah, basically like for music, it would be freestyle. And I went on stage and, it was not in music and I improv'd a bunch, and they loved it, man. And I was just real. I just put myself in that situation and it worked out. And then from there, things started working. I started taking it serious. And I mean, I'm still in class to this day, man. I take a lot of school and a lot of work, and it was a amazing transition. I didn't find it till about a year after I moved out here.
And it looks like you're enjoying it, man. Because I remember seeing when you first jumped into the whole act, and I saw you in a couple of music videos. But even then, it looked like you were having fun. You were in some music videos, grooving and shit. And
right.
And then last time I hit you up, I was like, "Hey, bro, is that you on the Kevin Gates?" And then you're like, "Yep." And I got a movie coming out that I'm gonna be on the Mule. So tell me, how does it feel to work with directors like James Franco and Clint Eastwood on the Mule?
Man, listen, bro, it's amazing. I just worked with David Ayer on a new film I did with Shia LaBeouf and George Lopez that's coming out this summer called The Tax Collector. I just worked with Mr. Eastwood and Bradley Cooper on The Mule. I just worked with Nicholas Refn on a new series called Too Old to Die Young, and I believe it's a Hulu or Amazon Prime series. I worked with some great directors. Even my first big video, which started my career, kind of was Kylie Jenner's the Glosses video. Her
That's
first
right.
campaign. Her first campaign for the and shout out to Kylie, man. I know she's doing really well, and yeah, they were amazing. Kylie, I worked with Colin Tilley, man, and he started booking me in quite a few. We did DJ Snake, the middle song. We did Future Mask Off. I started booking a bunch of great videos with some good directors, and it's a blessing, man, to learn, and it's, you know, I'm grateful and I'm honored, and you know, just my life from what it used to be to what it is now, and to be able to work with these people, and then you know, to be called back, and because like the role I booked with David Ayer's new film with Shy and George, The Tax Collector, I actually booked a bigger role, but because of my shoot days with the Mule, I had to give the role up, and I was upset because I was ready to work with another big director. I just did the Nicholas Refn project. I had just did I just booked the Mule, and so I find out that I have to give this role up, and I was upset. My agent, my acting coach was like, "Yo, it's the best problem to have in Hollywood because people know you're booking stuff." And so while I was shooting the Mule, halfway through the Mule, I was in New Mexico, and I get a call from Mr. Ayer's casting office, like, "Look, he really liked your performance," because I had went and met for him on my second or third read for the audition. I went and met with him personally, and he really liked me. And they brought me back for another role, a good role. It's not as big, but it's still a really good role. You know, always, of course, it's got lines, and you know, it's a supporting role, and yeah, man, it's surreal and it's humbling, and it's never a feeling that I'll get used to. I think some people feel like, you know, because of the path that I've, you know, I kind of changed my destiny to where I was headed from how I was living to moving and coming here. So it's something that, man, I'll always be grateful and honored, and I always learn, and I mean, it's amazing, bro. Words can't express how thankful and grateful I am for these opportunities, but I work really hard, G, like really, really hard, you know?
Yeah, bro. Because like I said, it's from when I met you to where you're at now. It's been a long road, and I can only imagine. You know, I mean, I talked to you earlier whenever we were trying to get this interview set up, and I was like, bro, I know you're probably busy all day, so it's a different lifestyle. And you know, since we're talking about lifestyle, what's the difference in the lifestyle of when you were just doing music to where now that you're, you know, the acting career? What's the difference? Like, how do you stay active in you know, in the music you have to consistently drop a track, a mixtape or a single, but how do you try to stay relevant in trying to get these roles?
Well, here, man, what the key is, like for me, I surround myself, I stay in the environment, meaning I'm in class, you know, 3 or 4 times a week. I'm reading plays every day. I'm reading screenplays, you know, at least 1 or 2 a week. I'm trying to read. You know, I try to crush my auditions. I take a lot of things outside of my regular acting class. I take audition intensives, which are courses that teach you how to audition, and I try to do real well with that. You got to stay in shape. You know, you got to take care of yourself. You got to, you know, you got to network around people every day, man, because this town is it's very small. As big as LA is, when you get into the industry, it's very small. So, you know, I got a routine every day, man. I'm you know, I wake up every day super early. I begin my day by getting my kids. You know, I'm a single dad too, so having 3 kids here, I got 1 out there in Texas still, but I got 3 little ones here they're amazing, and their life is very busy. So my schedule, I don't change anything. Basic, you know, meaning like when I started coming out here and I dedicated myself to a schedule, making my kids lunch every day, breakfast. They have a vegetarian diet and almost vegan diet, hitting the gym every day, going to class every day, reading plays, rehearsing with my classmates on scenes that I have for class, reaching out to people, you know, the network of people I'm around. That's what you have to do, man. You got to stay in shape. You know, you got to be in the mix, you know, and even with your social media, you know, I have the verified Instagram, which, you know, I got blessed and Instagram reached out to me, verified it. And so you have to even watch what you post every day, and you got to stay active. But, you know, everything you do it's a routine for me, man. And it's, it's a blessing that I'm working. I work hard, and I'm, like I said, I'm in class. I'm doing so many things, and you know, my gym at Equinox, you know, I'm networked around a bunch of people, and I don't really go out. You know, everything I do every day is business and work, and then, you know, I don't have a lot of time for pleasure right now. It's just work. It's no party. It's all work. You know.
Yeah. So how hard was it to change the lifestyle from who you were out here in Houston to who you are now?
I mean, it was super hard, G, because I came out here, and the way I made money in Houston,
Yep.
I stopped all that when I came out here, and so it was super hard because my rent quadrupled. I mean, I went from renting a house in the Heights for under 800 to paying well over 2,000 for a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. And you know, the cost of gas is double. You know, or you know, and so I came out here, and there's a lot of days I wanted to give up. You know, and because you know, that I wasn't making that fast money, and it was easy for me to just come back home or to get back in the lifestyle that I lived out there. But I worked a bunch of jobs, man, and I when I had my last dollar, you know, I would spend it instead of buying BS or alcohol or junk food, or I was saving it for acting class. After my bills were paid and my groceries were made, and you know, things would happen, I would invest it in, you know, in the acting class, and it was tough because I had to work 3 jobs, and you know, you're talking about $4 or $5 grand a month just to survive with kids and groceries and gas and lights and rent and car notes and insurance. And so it's a lot, man. So going from a dude who was living in the streets, who, you know, I would go to the club. You see me spend $4 or $5 grand in the club, like it was nothing back in the day. To happen to pay that and do it all the right way was very humbling. But I knew that if I stayed the course and I tried, and it's just like when you want to be a doctor, bro. You got to go to college, you know, for a certain amount of time. You got to sacrifice when no one else wants to go to school. And so I had to do that all over again in my life now that, you know, but you know, I'm being an actor, you know, and it's paying off. And it was tough. I wanted to go home. I missed the streets. My lifestyle was, even though it was one that, you know, you never know what you have in front of you, whether it be life or prison or you know, whatever it is, death or whatever, you know, it's a lifestyle that you're used to and something that you know you can control. Even though you don't have control of it, you kind of can control it. When you know, people say the working man's a sucker. That's a lie. It's way harder to go and live the regular lifestyle and go work hard for your family and stay out of trouble and make an honest dollar. And so I had to do that all over again. And I was in my 30s doing that, you know, versus being some young kid and having a whole family to depend on, and kids in practice and you know, going to band and you know, all this stuff and bills. So I mean, it was tough, dog. Every day I wanted to give up. I saw a lot of people come here and go home, and I saw people get caught up in the partying, the drugs, the lifestyle out here. You know, I know quite a few people from Houston that came out here and didn't make it, and these were successful people in the music industry and had to go back home, and so, you know, it was tough, my brother, but you know,
hey,
it
was a change that needed to happen, man, and you know, and thankfully everything's going, you know, the right way, and it can only get better.
Right.
So talk to me about the process of getting a role, like what goes into getting a role in a movie or a TV show.
Well, you have to be just to be able to have the opportunity to actually audition for good roles. Is very hard. You have to get an agent. And you have to get, it's not too hard to get a commercial agent if you have a good look. But to get a theatrical agent is very hard. To get someone who can actually get you in the room for some of these big jobs. And so, you know, you go into an audition, and I auditioned. You know, I'm now friends with some of my favorite actors who you know, when I first got here, you know, they saw me coming up pretty fast. But I'm friends with a lot of good, you know, my boy Noel G, Cesar Garcia. You know, like there's quite a few. Raymond, you know, I got a lot of actors who are in the Mayans, who are in all these great shows, and I basically, you have to have an agent and you have to get an opportunity for an audition, and then they give you a day, maybe 2 days, and you go in and you got to read in front of casting agents. You go in with it could be anywhere from 20 other people to 100 or 200, and it's a process. You know, you go in and you prepare for it, and you read, and you either get it or you don't. And you never know if you know, you only hear if you get it. No one's ever gonna call you and say you didn't get it. So, you know, it's a lot of rejection. You have to have you know, some people have to drive clear across town. Sometimes you got to go an hour, go through traffic, you know, do all this stuff just to, you know, go in for a 5 minute audition. And, you know, you don't know if you got it or not. Doesn't matter who you know or who you are. You know, if you're going in for the audition, you know, they all go in with a clean slate, whether it's some huge actor and some little one, you know. So it's pretty tough, man. And you got to prepare for it, you know.
So you got to be patient more than anything, huh? You got to sit there and be patient for the call, wait for the call.
Yeah, you have to be patient. And once you do it, I mean, I don't look at them as auditions. I look at them as performances. And what I do, bro, is I go in, I prepare really hard for it, you know, and I go and book the room, meaning I go in, I give a big performance, and then that's it. I forget about it, man. And there's no, because I'm the type, I'm never the guy who's gonna sit back and be like, oh, I should have got this. Oh, this would be mine. And I feel like when it's yours, it's yours. You know, there's enough roles out there. And you know, I don't dwell on it because you'll kill yourself. You'll get old quick trying to worry about every audition, even the big ones that you really want. You know, I've almost booked. I'm usually I always, you know, I'm grateful and blessed to always pretty much get a call back. And I've almost booked I booked some big things that I've done, and I'm almost booked some even bigger ones. Meaning, I've been pinned. It's a term they use in the acting world called, you know, you're pinned for this role, meaning it's you and one other guy. And I've been pinned for some big reoccurring guest star roles and a couple of lead roles that, you know, my time's coming. So I just do my job and do my work, and I don't focus on that. You know, because the whole reason I got in the entertainment industry and you know, the everything while I'm here is different than a lot of other people. Not saying that I'm different, but you know, some people are just in it for the money, and I'm truly in love with the craft, and I'm in it to do well and to keep people in their seats and to communicate the writers and the directors' idea of this story. And you know, I really love doing it. So if I don't get the job, I'm never upset. You know, I always want the best person to get it because I want it to be the best movie possible. I want to that's why I work so hard, and I'm in school and I'm doing this, and I don't take any shortcuts, and I'm not trying to buy my way into the industry I'm just in here grinding, you know what I'm saying? And working hard. That's it, G. You know, to the best man, you know, may the best man win so that you guys can watch the best movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I know you're currently on set right now. You're actually taking the time to talk to us while you're on break. And
right.
What are some of the things that people need to keep their eye on, like current projects that you're working on?
All right. So I'm currently in season 2 of Barry on HBO. That's playing right now. I'm in a few episodes of that. I was in the first episode 2 weeks ago. I'm coming out on a new series called it's on Stars, Vida. It was they had season 1. It was really well. It's a great show. So I got a episode on season 2 of Vida coming up. I got the new movie with George Lopez and Shia LaBeouf coming up called The Tax Collector, which is going to be a big one. I got a really good film. I just got a lead role in. There's a short film. A lot of people have probably seen it. It's called Hermanos. And our song, actually a song that you and I did, We Rollin', is on.
Thank you.
The intro.
I appreciate that because people don't know that you're the reason my part of the verse is featured on the beginning of that movie. And I'm thankful, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, man. So that they actually, that short film, it booked a full feature. And so I got a lead role in the feature. I have that coming up. I got Too Old to Die Young with Miles Teller and William Baldwin coming out. I'm currently working on a show that I got a reoccurring on that I'm under NDAs because you know, everything hasn't been announced. I can't disclose that, but man, I got quite a few. What else do I have coming up? Let's see. Rookie just came up. S.W.A.T.T just came up. I got a few new music videos coming out that I got the lead for. Let's see, man. So many things I got. I got another. I got a short film right now. It's called Bloodhound Disciples. It's currently working the film festival tour, and it's killing it. Circuit. We're winning a bunch of stuff on that. I'm in that. A new web series called Railed coming in that I got a lead role in. That's coming out. And yeah, man, I can't even think. I got so much stuff. I'm blessed, brother. I've been working hard. A lot of stuff coming out. You know?
That's a good problem to have, not to remember everything you're working on.
Yeah, and I hardly watch myself, man. Even, you know, it took me so long before I even watched myself. I think the Mule was the first time I actually sat down. I actually got invited to the red carpet premiere in Westwood, but my son, my 10-year-old, True Warrior had his playoff football game in East LA, and I didn't want to miss it. It was the same day, so I went to the cast and crew premiere at Warner Brothers the day before it was released on December 13th. I took my acting coach, and it was an amazing event. But that was my first time I actually sat down and watched myself, and I was so where I watched the whole thing, and because and it was that's another feeling. I don't know if I ever get used to that, man. And it's crazy, man.
Who's that guy? Shit, that's me.
Right. And then, and then the reaction. I remember the next day going to the movies with my family, my kids, to go watch it at the Universal Studios City Walk, where they have the Universal Studios out here. It's the City Walk. And we went to watch it. And people started recognizing me as I was getting my ticket and popcorn, and everyone was coming up and taking pics, and everyone at the theater walking to it, because I was in all the trailers, and they ran the trailers throughout, the World Series and football and all these things. So I got a lot of recognition from the trailers for the Mule, and man, it was surreal. Even I just went to Sundance. I had a film that ran one of the little outside, not at Sundance, but they have other events, and I was there, man. Everyone's stopping me. Like, you'll never get used to that stuff. It's the craziest thing. At least I won't, and to be seeing myself on a big screen. And I'm going to tell you what was even more tripped out. Before I even saw the trailer on TV, I went to watch A Star Is Born with my baby mama. We went to watch it, and they played the trailer for the Mule. That was the first time I saw it, and it was on the big screen, and it freaked me out, man. It was like, whoa, to see myself on this, it was nuts, man. Yeah, man.
So, man, I know we're trying to keep this short. I wish I could sit here and talk to you, but I know you want to spend some time, to clear your mind and get ready to go back to your set. Before I let you go, bro, tell people where they can follow you on Instagram and all the other social media pages. Yeah,
so I'm on IG, Twitter, and Facebook. It's all the same. Snapchat, it's Lee-Coc, Leecoc. You can search my music anywhere on any streaming site at you can search for Lee-Coc, Lee-Coc, Holder of the Light. And Holder of the Light is in quotations. So Lee-Coc, Holder of the Light, on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music. I got some music with you on there with a bunch of great artists. I got a new EP I'm about to release. New track with Scott Storch. He produced it. And yeah, man, I'm still grinding. We working and every day, man, it's a blessing. And I got another new movie also coming out. I got a lead role in called Rock, and it's got a lot of great actors in it. Darius Love. It's got Noel G. Hector. That's Hector from Fast. Yeah, that's a good friend of mine. Shout out to my dude Noel. It's got Omar Gooden in it, or not Cuba, but his brother Omar Gooden is in it. Also Daylight, my homie, a good friend of mine, the battle rapper Daylight is in it. Yeah, it's a good movie. Compton Menace is in it. It's coming out soon. It's going to be a great movie. So, yeah, that's it, man. Search everything Lee-Coc, and then everything else on the music is Lee-Coc, Holder of the Light.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well, man, once again, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're on set, and I'm really thankful. First of all, again, thankful for the fact that you were able to get my verse on that movie. Hermanos, that was fucking dope, and thankful for you taking the time and talk to us. Give us the time for the interview. Best of luck to you. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm glad everything's going, the way, you probably didn't imagine things going this way, but the way that it's supposed to be going. And I'm glad you made that change in lifestyle. And best of luck to you, man. We'll keep an eye open for all the upcoming projects. And once again, thank you, man.
Thank you, man. And listen, man, before you, I just want to say, man, Houston, man, I miss you. I love you, man. Texas, Richmond, Rosenberg, Fort Bend County, everywhere in Houston, the Valley, 956, San Antonio, Austin, Dallas. I miss y'all, man. I'm going to come home and visit soon. I miss Papa Do's, Whataburger. I miss Papacitos. I miss the Southern hospitality, ACB. But I'm working hard, man. I'm putting on for the city, man. So I just want to tell H-Town, man, I really appreciate all the support. Everybody in Texas, man, it's nothing but love. I try to rep and put on for the city, man. I love LA. Don't get me wrong. It's a great place, but ain't nothing like Texas, man. And I appreciate everything, man. Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for reaching out for the show,
We
are the voice of the underground.